So Abu Bakr now asked him, Ya Rasulullah, are you angry with me? So the Prophet ﷺ said something. He said, no, I'm not angry with you. Again, do me, I do you, is fair. So I'm not angry with you. He said, but each time that person insulted you, you kept quiet. An angel answered for you. The way it was translated, the angel gave the lie to what that person said. So if maybe the person is saying something like, it will not be good for you, the angel will just answer, it will be good for him. It will be good for her. So the angel gave the lie to what that person said. The moment you opened your mouth to answer for yourself, the angel left, as in, you don't need me again, you can now handle it. So the angel left. Then Shaitan came and sat down. And if Shaitan comes to sit next to you, has he come to say, Yihakuri? Has he come to say, be patient? Has he come to say, in this whole quarrel, calm down first, think about it. Are you at fault in any way? Is that what Shaitan or any of his messengers would say? Will they tell you, wait, in this quarrel, you need to involve this person to advise you because this matter is getting too hot? Will Shaitan say that? No, we know Shaitan's style. Fire back. Answer her very well. This woman wants to climb on your head as a man. Don't give her chance. Show her that you are the head of the family. This man has reigned you, because you are calm, you are quiet, you're not asking for money all the time. This is the time. Open your eye. Tell him very well. That's when you see someone's eyes will be red. The nostrils will widen. The person that is not tall will now be standing like this. Shaitan's work is not to encourage us towards goodness. It's to pull us away from it. So there are times when I know I have been tempted to give back. There are times after a disagreement, I go and sit down and think, hey, this is the thing I should have said, or to probably have just silenced this person. But that's not helping me at all. What helps is if I remember this hadith. And if I picture that each time the person said something really nasty, an angel answered on my spirit. If I picture that each time I remain calm, Shaitan is looking for which chair to sit on, but he can't sit because an angel is already sitting there. And when later I start to feel I should have said this, it would have hit the person well, I remind myself that Shaitan still trying to drag you back to the place where he could not catch you. So focusing on Allah and everything we understand about him actually helps us build ourselves. Now let's come to the others, because this is where I want to start talking about self-development. That the others, in this case, we are focusing mainly on your spouse. As we've said before, is going to live with you, and you are a full package. What do I mean by full package? We all have where we came from, background, the things we were taught, the things we saw, the things we experienced, the things we were exposed to, even the things we were denied. All of those things go into shaping the people here in this room today. You cannot strip yourself of your past, but you can design what your future self is going to be like, what your present self is going to be like. So when somebody marries another, it's two packages coming together inside one box. When you marry someone, you marry a package. When a person marries you, they marry a package. You are like that package, like the gift. They tell you somebody sent message for you, it's at the motor park. You go to pick it, it's this nice big bag, Ghana must go, heavy, and you are happy. It's a gift. You are the gift to your spouse. Let me repeat that. You are a gift to your spouse. You are your spouse's special package. And as I said before, it's important to now look at that package and say, does this package need to be upgraded? How do I maintain this package? How do I develop myself so that I am the best travel companion possible to my spouse or my spouse to be? Even if that person does not exist yet, inshallah, he or she is coming. So for the singles in this room, I always say you are at a very good point in life. Why? You are not yet committed to anybody. You are not yet in the marriage. So you see, as a married person, and this is whether you are a married man or a married woman, you cannot just pack your bag and go. Even if you've chosen that's how you want to be doing it, just carry your bag and go. Somebody is going to say, where are you going? And the man will either call on his authority as head of the family, you're not going anywhere. Or the woman will go and bar the door. Come and pass. If it gets that serious, right? And even if there's no argument, any responsible husband or wife knows, I can't just get up, pack my bags and just decide I'm traveling tomorrow without shura with my spouse, without consulting. So when you are single, there's a lot of freedom, and that freedom, I am saying, should be used to build and develop yourself. There's a misconception that is often sold, especially to single ladies. Don't develop yourself too quickly, they will tell you. Don't scare the men away. I've had ladies being told, don't go for masters. Huh? When the husband comes, they now say, oh, she has a first degree, she even has masters. You scare him off. So wait, some will say, wait, when you get to your husband's house, you can now go for any degree you like. This is a mistake. If you as a person are going to develop yourself, then develop yourself. Any man or woman who is frightened of your growth and your development has not yet understood what it means to be a good travel companion then. If they are saying this is where you should remain, where you have potential to go much higher, then they do not yet understand what it means to be a good travel companion. And if they don't understand that, then they are not ready to get married. This is why even for singles, we keep stressing, there are things you have to learn about yourself, like the exercise you just did. There are things you have to understand about yourself, about life, realities about marriage, before you get married. Otherwise, you get married, the marriage starts to suffer badly. Now, let's go quickly to some of those things that we need to develop. I try to find how best do I express or classify or group the different things you'll need to work on. And I chose to follow what is known as Al-Maqasid, the Maqasid of Sharia, saying if these are the ultimate aims of Sharia, the ultimate goals of all revelation, the ultimate, then in my mind, it makes sense that you talk about these 6 with regards to your personal development. So 6 essentials. 1 is Deen, the spiritual, and I've touched on that a bit. It's about your relationship with Allah, your connection to Him. We spend some time on that. The second is Nafs, the self, the soul, or some would simply say life, your life. And under that, there are certain things to just be conscious of. The quality of your life. What is the quality of your life? Your physical and mental health. That's something to focus on, to develop and to build it. Your sense of well-being and safety. So let me go back a bit. That the quality of your life covers all of these and more. How do you feel as a person affects the quality of life. It's not enough to just be alive. But what kind of life is it? How do you feel? Do you feel mentally okay, happy, stable? Do you feel safe as a person? If you are married, do you feel safe within your marriage? If you are not, do you feel safe within the community, within those relationships that you've already established? Physically, how do you feel? How are you? What are you doing to be physically fit and okay? So we can look at things like your diet. What kind of food do you eat? Is it balanced? I think looking at everybody here, we've all gone through secondary school. We know the different classes of food, and we've been told again and again, you have to eat a little bit of everything regularly. Fruits, vegetables, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, fluids. I'll highlight the major one that many people are talking about now, sugar. How much sugar do you take? Be mindful of the drinks, those processed ones that you buy. Be mindful even of the homemade ones that they serve at weddings and at funerals. When you go for tazia and they are passing drinks around, be mindful even of those. Because very often people put in a lot of sugar to make it taste nice. You drink it, when you are young, you probably don't notice the effects, but the damage is already being done. As a doctor once said, when there's damage to the brain, based sometimes on diet, on sleeping habits, he said the damage starts 20 to 30 years before the symptoms start to show. So when people start to show symptoms of certain ailments, not just the brain, but these different ailments, diabetes, hypertension, and so on, when they are 50 or 60 years old, many times they will trace it back to habits, dietary habits, sleeping habits formed when the person was 20-something, 30-something. So 20, 30 years back. Looking at members in this room, I think the average age for most people is late 20s, early 30s, average of most people. So you're at an age where this is the time to apply the brakes on the sugary drinks you consume, on the processed foods you consume. You walk into most shops, a lot of processed foods, biscuits and cakes and so on, all taste really nice, but they are going to do damage to your body in the long run. So when we talk about developing yourself, the quality of your life, your physical health, we can talk about diet. For those who are married, and even before you get married, we can also talk of reproductive health. Your reproductive system, you need to care for it, you need to mind it. If you've already started having children, then you have to be double careful. Because just the sheer load on your body, the strain on your body, on your bones, on the minerals in your body of carrying a child for 9 months, you need time to recover from that. Then the stress that follows having that child and caring for the child, not sleeping well at night, including even the fathers, because more and more nowadays we have more active fathers. Fathers who also stay up at night to rock a baby, to toss a baby up and down. The stress over time will tell. So your reproductive health is also important. For those who are married as well, you want to have kids. You don't want to have to struggle too hard. As long as there's no underlying medical condition, it's even more important to watch your diet. Now let's look at the mental health. How do you feel? Happy? Stable? Are you feeling stressed out? How do you solve problems? How do you approach them? How do you perceive problems? These all tie back to your mental health. Talking about physical and mental health, I will connect it to this sense of safety within a marriage. We have many cases of domestic violence. Many cases. And I know most people are fully aware of what's been in the news lately. The death sentence passed on Mariam Sanda. I'm not going to go into the whys and wherefores because so far we've heard many different stories about what happened, what led to it, why she stabbed her husband. And there have been other cases of such, women stabbing husbands. It's a weird development and it's sad. We are currently trying to work on husbands beating their wives. Then we now start seeing wives stabbing husbands. And it leads me back to that thing of the price of patience, the value, the wisdom in patience. And this question of, do me, I do you, God no vex. There's wisdom in it. And let me ask, from experience, what we know. If somebody says to you, you are very stupid. Let me use that as a common example, or wawa. Do we often say just wawa in return, or do we usually say wawa then we add extra? Wawa with extra. Why? That thing hurts so much that you want to make sure if I give you back, I will try and keep you down. You cannot even reply me again. Now the person you've given wawa with extra, the extra is what the person now looks at. Oh, you added this, and the person tries to do even more. So I feel that might even be part of what we are seeing. Women saying, you are oppressing me, when they now want to revenge, the vengeance is overboard. That's just me saying, I don't know. Whatever the reason or the causes might be, it doesn't make marriage a safe place for these people. Takes us back to that thing of you and Allah first, others second. So whatever conflict may be going on in one's marriage, in one's life, always remember, my journey is from Allah to Allah. This person is just a companion. If the companionship is now becoming a strain on me, if the companionship is affecting my relationship with Allah, my sense of existence, it is better to separate. To say, please, let me go and find another seat on this plane, than to insist we must continue sitting next to each other and be jabbing each other as we are sitting there. And I'm not just saying this because I think it's the best thing to do, but it's right there in the Quran. You stay in kindness, or you separate in the best manner. That's Allah's own. Stay together in love, in compassion, or separate. Never ever let it get so toxic that it ends up destroying one or both of you. This is the truth. So when we are talking about developing ourselves, physical and mental health, sense of well-being and safety, it's important therefore to look at something about how do we handle conflict. So again, one of the things to keep asking yourself as a person, when I have a disagreement with someone, how do I tend to act or react? Do I pause? Do I reflect on my words before they come out? Do I think again and again before I actually take action? Do I consult people? Do I insult? Or no, I don't insult, but I give really nasty looks, killer looks. Or do I keep silent in a way that I know is killing this person's spirit? How do you handle conflict? Once you think about, even if you are not married, how you handle conflict with siblings or cousins or friends, you will get a pretty clear idea of how you are likely to handle conflict even with your spouse. So looking at your conflict management style is essential when it comes to you, your self-development, and marriage. Because when you don't know how to handle conflict, that is when conflict becomes toxic. Quarreling itself is not a problem. I personally say, please quarrel. If there's something to quarrel about, please quarrel. How you quarrel will depend most likely on the issue, yourself, the person you are quarreling with. There are many right ways to quarrel. There's no single way. There are many right ways. I remember once we were giving a talk on marriage and we were talking about be calm, don't speak in a hurry, write down some of the things you want to discuss, use a letter. We're giving some of these very calm tips. A lady in the audience stood up and said, she and her husband, they've tried that, but they don't like it. We said, okay, what do you like? She said, no, let's talk. This is the issue. Here it is hot. Let's talk. The other one, you'll not be arranging your words, you'll be planning the time. You don't like it, you don't like it. Okay, I don't like it. Really, why? She said, so sometimes, yes, their voices would rise. She said, but it doesn't get out of hand. And it works for them. They do find a way to come to some kind of agreement. Talking again about conflict. Anytime you find a marriage where they are not disagreeing, it means one person is the yes, everything is yes, just nodding like a gamma lizard. Something is wrong with that marriage. It means you are hiding things. Something is wrong with that marriage. I am quick to say what I don't like. I will show it, I might say it. If I don't say it, my body will be, to use Nigerian English, will be choking me. My husband, much calmer personality. Very low temperature when it comes to strife and anger. Very calm, easygoing. He can let an issue lie for 3, 4, 5 days and it won't show. For me, I didn't like that too. So when we got married, after a while, I was like, I'm the one always saying, this thing happened, that happened, always expressing what I don't like. I said, I don't want you hiding things, tell me, Fa. So some days I go out of my way and I say, I know I've been looking for your trouble, Barr. I say it because I know me. I'm not saying I'm troublesome, Sha. But I know between the two of us, who is more likely to rub the other person the wrong way? It is me. I'm more forward in my approach to things, more direct. And sometimes he would laugh and say, is it not you? Then I know, okay, I was right. Other times he just smiles and says, I know. Then I know, okay, it was just my perception. But in conflict, You understand yourself, you understand your partner's package, and you find what works. So that's why I said there are many ways to approach conflict. Just there are some things you must avoid. I've been using insults as an example since, because that's where sometimes the problem begins. That's where the conflict, instead of constructing, starts to destroy. Insults. We use insults automatically a lot. So 1, avoid insults. Avoid generalization, where you take your spouse or your husband and you add him or her to an entire generation of negatives. The example I love to use is when we will call the husbands or wives tribe and say, all so and so women, all so and so men, that man they told me, that man I knew. So here is your innocent wife or husband, maybe not so innocent according to you. They've done something you don't like. You take that thing you don't like, add it to all the sins of all the men or women of their tribe, put it on that one person's head. How will the conflict not escalate? Another thing to avoid, getting very personal. Where you go from, you didn't call me to let me know you would be late, to you are very inconsiderate. It's almost like a statement of fact, almost like an insult. Maybe, yes, your spouse is not considerate. But did you need to say that? Could you not instead have focused on, I'm not happy. You didn't call me to say you will be late. I waited and waited. I'm tired. Now what I've just done is not wrong. Some of us are afraid of doing even this. I'm not happy. Some of us are afraid. That's when we say nothing, we swallow it. Another one we swallow. The day we now bring out, everything is rotten. It's like someone sees a dead rat. You tie it inside leather. Then keep it. One day that leather must burst open. And when it opens, it will be nasty. So sometimes better when it comes to conflict, solve it any way you like. There are many, many correct ways. But always focus on the issue. Do not generalize. Don't get personal. Avoid insults. That approach also gives you a sense of well-being, because you are not carrying poison around in your stomach. So when we talk about the life, the quality of life with regard to marriage, these are the areas I would focus on. When it comes to the domestic violence part, I'll come back to this because it's a problem we are seeing. I always ask, please do not stay in a place where someone is treating you with violence. Domestic violence, it's what you call in English a paradox. Domestic usually means home. Violence, why? Marriage is not for that. And here I'm talking to both men and women. If women are stabbing nowadays, then it's not just women we need to advise, but men as well. Do not stay there. And by staying there, I mean don't stay there physically. Engage people and involve people. You need to give physical distance. Because in truth, a person who becomes violent, habitually in particular, has a deep-seated problem that needs to be solved. But people stay. They stay until something or someone is badly hurt. That's wrong. A person who knows that he or she has that tendency to hit, to throw things, that person should be honest with him or herself and focus on fixing and helping him or herself. Violence has no place in marriage. Then the intellect, developing one's mind. How you think, learning, continuous learning. Knowledge is something that we must have as human beings, as individuals. Our brains were designed for learning. The way the brain has been designed, we learn, whether we want to or we don't want to. That's the job of the brain. That's all it does. These little children in this room, they are learning things. And at their age, they are learning much more rapidly than we are. In the past almost an hour and a half that I've been here, they have learned so much of you then have to create intentional learning experiences. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what your profession is, what your schedules are, you can learn. Alhamdulillah now for MOOCs, massive open online courses. There are websites you go to, you will learn a lot. You are the one to decide, what do I want to learn? Something under education, under psychology, something under what? What do I want to learn? The choice is yours, and nobody can hold you back from that. Sometimes we get married, we seem to believe we don't need to learn anymore, or we can't anymore, and I'm saying it's not possible. I'm going to write something quickly on the board. These are websites I go to learn. And these are websites I encourage others to go to learn. At work where I am, I actually sometimes would say, no, some staff have to go learn ABC. Online, some of the courses are free. Some are moderately priced, not too expensive for anybody who has some money. Some are a bit more expensive, but you have to decide what do you want. So we have CO. Can I clean this? Oh, yeah. Sorry, let me try and get something to clean this board with. I'll use my hand. My hand works just as well. This is faster. They told me I have only 15 minutes more. So I don't have that time to wait. So Coursera, but with one E.org. So this is one website. It's an excellent place to learn almost anything. Data science, computers, whatever. Then Skillshare. Skillshare is another place online where you can learn. If you happen to be in education, then this would work. Harvard GSE. I think it's .com or .org, I'm no longer sure. But once you type in Harvard GSE, the search engine will find it for you. This is the one that usually requires a lot of money. But again, I say it depends on what you want and what you think is worth it. edX is another place to go. edX. There are several others, but I would say this is my top pick when it comes to these courses. This is my second. This is my third. Third because of the money, not the quality. If it's about quality, I go with Coursera, then Harvard, then edX. For something like Coursera, it's actually top universities, mostly based in the US, some in the UK and in other parts of the world, and they just compress major courses into 4-week courses or 2-month courses. So they bring that same quality, but they summarize it for you. Your learning should never stop. We've already talked about the spiritual part of learning. This is more the intellectual thinking and how you think. And even the organization that owns these premises, alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
Violence. You only dwelled on the physical violence, but even though you just mentioned past this, talking about psychological, so I want you to expatiate on that.
Okay.
Because it's not in all cases that you have physical violence, more are even psychological. And then because of the kind of environment we live in, you are told that everything is happy, and then they're always focused on the woman.
Yeah.
So I think there should be a change.
Physical violence, let's use that word. That one is the one that is slightly more dangerous because you have no scars to show. So even when you go and you say, so and so did this to me, they say, is that all? Because there's no scar to show. Now, how would you know, okay, this is damaging to me as a person psychologically? Let's give a somewhat harmless example. A woman says she wants to start a business. The man starts giving her all kinds of reasons why she should hold on, she shouldn't, she wouldn't, and maybe even starts making comments about whether she'll succeed or not. Or a man says he wants to start a business, and it's the same way the wife responds. So when we talk down to someone, when we tell the person they're incapable of doing things, that is psychologically damaging over time. Not just the first time, but over time. If as a husband or a wife, you find when you want to try something new, you hesitate to say it to your spouse because you know your spouse's reaction will be discouraging or will put you down, then I say right there, that's psychologically damaging. Something is wrong there. And that's the kind of thing you need to learn how to address. Another way that someone could actually cause emotional or psychological damage is by being unfaithful. Infidelity. I'm not talking about a man wanting to marry a second wife. There are cases where a man wants to marry a second wife. He goes about it in a way that dignifies his first wife. He treats her with dignity even in that process. Not easy for her even to accept, but he still treats her with dignity. There's a way a woman will behave that she will say and she can swear, I have not been unfaithful. But there are things we do, some call it emotional infidelity. For instance, a woman sends a provocative picture to a man. It's there in his phone. And he's saying, I didn't ask for it. There's nothing between me and that woman. Yes, but why is the picture still in your phone? Why is it still there? Then maybe that same woman is still sending text messages. Maybe harmless text messages, but if a woman sends you this kind of picture to your phone, then why are you even still communicating with her? Why are you not sending a clear message that your type of woman I don't want? Same thing goes for women. A woman says, I'm faithful now, but there's one kind of relationship she has with one kind of man. When she has problems, it's that man she tells. She says, do you know since when we've been friends, since when we were children, fa? He has a wife and I'm married. Why will you even be saying such a thing about me, your wife? There is such a thing as emotional infidelity. Because there's a way a husband and wife should relate. The moment you include another person in that manner of relating, you are causing emotional pain. And it can be damaging. Or a woman or man who constantly compares his spouse to somebody else. That's emotional damage. Constantly. Not in the heat of one quarrel, it comes out later, you apologize, you don't repeat it, but it's a constant. Or the person who says, that man, I didn't want to marry you. In the mind of the person you are telling, they're like, so who did you want to marry? And some will go so far as to actually mention the person. That's damaging. Now, when people say, Yi Hakuri, I explained something earlier. There's the one of, I will not revenge. And that is highly commendable. Then there's also the one of, I will not allow the oppression.